I know that some of you read and studied Patricia Smith in your classes. Unfortunately, she was taken with illness 2 weeks ago. She won't be here tonight. Fortunately, we have an amazing replacement. Someone who Patricia Smith herself has called his own revolution. I think that'd be very cool to be called a revolution. I kind of like that. To tell you a little bit about Roger, he's a veteran of the spoken word scene and a 2-time National Poetry Slam champion. He is the author of Tarnish and Masquerade and co-author of Burning Down the House. His most recent book of poems, Gully, was released in 2010. You can see it up here. It's also available up front if you'd like to pick up a copy tonight. I'll put it up here. Here's an interesting review of Gully by Gregory Parlow, excellent writer himself. Parlow writes, in Gully, Roger Bonair-Agard presents the phenomena of muscle memory with such wit and lyricism that the body comes alive. The reader finds his or her own limbs twitching in response to the poem's infectious groove. And the aftershocks of history are revealed under that lens in all their vivid contradiction and verve. It is important to note that Roger moved to the United States from his native Trinidad and Tobago in 1987. Intending to begin university and eventually pursue law, Roger found himself instead exploring the seediest sides. This is what's on your sites. Do you explore seedy sides? Okay. Exploring the seediest sides of New York City life, from Harlem to Brooklyn to Washington Heights. His poems explore the intersection between his 20-plus years as an immigrant in America and the Trinidad from where he came. Roger has appeared 3 times on HBO's Def Jam. How many of you guys have seen him there? Come on, there we go. And on the McNeil Lair NewsHour. How many of you have seen him there? Different crowd, okay. Amongst other television and numerous radio appearances. For the last 10 years, Roger has worked with the youth at Urban Word in New York City, and for the last 7 years with the youth at Volume in Ann Arbor and poetry youth organizations from coast to coast. He is the co-founder and artistic director of the Louder Arts Project in New York. He has also been adjunct professor in the creative writing department at Fordham University. Currently, Roger is writer in residence with Vision into Art, poet in residence with Young Chicago Writers. He teaches poetry at the Cook County Temporary Juvenile Detention Center in Chicago, Illinois. I'm just so happy to have him here. Please put your hands together and give your most fierce welcome to Roger Bonair.
What's up, Grossmont? Yeah. This is not mourning. There is a nastiness slowing your shoes, something you shouldn't step in. Its shattered beads, stomped flowers, vomit such stupid beauty. Beauty you can stick a manicured finger into and through. Beauty that doesn't rely on any sentence the sun chants. It's whiskey, swelter-blown scarlet. Call this something else. Last night it had a name wedged between an organ's teeth. A name pumping a virgin unawares, a curse word. Wail it regardless. Weak light, bleakly triumphant, will unveil scabs, snippets of filth music, cars on collapsed veins, the whole of grey doubt slithers on solemn skin. Call her New Orleans. Each day she wavers, not knowing how long she can stomach the introduction of needles, the brash booze warbling of bums with neon crowns, necklaces raining. She tries on her voice, which sounds like cigarettes, pubic sweat, brown spittle lining a sax bell, the broken heel on a drag queen's scarlet slings. Your kind of singing. Weirdly in love, you rumba her edges, drink fuming concoctions, lick your lukewarm breakfast directly from her crust. Go on, admit it, you are addicted to her brick hips, the thick swerve she elicits, the way she kisses you, her lies wide open. She prefers alleys, crevices, basement floors. Hell, let her woo you. This kind of romance dims the worth of soldiers, bends and breaks the back, sips manna from muscle, tells you, leave your life. Pack your little suitcase, flee what is rigid and duly prescribed. Let her touch that raw space between cock and calm, the place that scripts such jazz. Let her pen letters addressed to your asking, you stutter. New Orleans, please don't. Blue is the color stunning your tongue. At least the city pretends to remember to be listening. She grins with glint tooth, wiping your mind blind of the wife, the children, the numb ritual of job and garden plot. Gently, she leads you out into the darkness and makes you drink rain.
Yeah.
As you may have noticed, I'm going to open with some poems from Patricia's Blood Dazzler, which I had read a few times before this gig. And as I was preparing for this gig and had to read it again, I recognized even more how really good a fucking collection of poems it is. Which of course then presented another problem, right? Like, really? I'm going to read her poems along with mine? But Katrina was really difficult for many of us to look at for any of a number of reasons. Because not only was there the specter of the destruction it caused and the lives upended by it, but also the unveiling of something far darker and more sinister about the human condition and about the nature of the America we live in, that for many, many years, and that in some ways we still continue to lie to ourselves about. And I think Patricia's book captures this really well. I'm going to read a couple of pieces from it. This next one is called 5 p.m., Tuesday, August 23rd, 2005. Data from an Air Force Reserve Unit reconnaissance aircraft, along with observations from the Bahamas and nearby ships, indicate the broad low-pressure area over the southeastern Bahamas has become organized enough to be classified as Tropical Depression 12. This from the National Hurricane Center. A muted thread of gray light hovering ocean becomes throat, pulls in wriggle, anemone, kelp, widens with the want of it. I become a mouth, thrashing hair, an overdone eye. How dare the water belittle my thirst, treat me as just another small disturbance. Try to feed me from the bottom of its hand. I will require praise, unbridled winds to define my body, a crime behind my teeth, because every woman begins as weather. Sips slow thunder, knows her hips. Every woman harbors a chaos, can wait for it, straddling a fever. For now, I console myself with small furies, those dips in my dawning system. I pull in a bored breath. The brine shivers. 11 a.m., Wednesday, August 24th, 2005. Satellite imagery, Doppler radar data from the Bahamas and Miami indicate Tropical Depression 12 has become much better organized, has strengthened into Tropical Storm Katrina. National. I really like that language for storms becoming organized. The difference in a given name, what the calling, the hard K does to the steel of me. How suddenly and surely it grants me pulse, petulance. Now I can do my own choking. I can thread my fingers with grimace and spit zephyr, a gentle marking of the very first time I felt that crisp, bladed now, in my own mouth. I'm going to move to a fairly long piece called What to Tweak, and then I'm going to read President Bush Flies Over, and then I'm going to give this collection a rest for now and talk about me. What to Tweak. Italicized excerpts. Hopefully you'll be able to tell what's italicized from how I act. From an August 31, 2005 email from Marty Bahamonde to his boss Michael Brown, head of FEMA. Bahamonde was one of the only FEMA employees in New Orleans at the time. August 31, 12:20 p.m., RE New Orleans. Sir, I know that you know the situation is past critical. Here are some things you might want to know. Rainbows warp when you curse them. I have held a shiver of black child against my body. The word river doesn't know edges. God wouldn't do this. There's a Chevy growing in that tree. Here I am so starkly white, sometimes bullets make perfect sense. Eventually the concrete will buckle. They won't stop screeching at me. I have passed out all my gum. So many people are thirsty. A kid breathes wet against my thigh. He calls me father. Hotels are kicking people out. No one is prepared for their sulking shadows. They sully sleek halls, leave smudges on grand glass. They double negative, sport clothes limp with ache. These people don't know this place, this costly harbor where they have always pointed eyes, bucked and overwhelmed, giddy with the conjure of mirrored silver and whole cups dedicated to tea. In the sudden midst of glorious this, they fill their cavernous pockets with faith. Why didn't we bolt the doors before they began to dream? Thousands gathering in the streets with no food or water. The weakened mob veers into the open for breath. Ashy babies bellow. B-boys hurl gold-toothed buckets. Everyone asks for food, and the heat singes art on bare backs, sucks tears from parched skin. It's true, there is no food, but water is everywhere. The demon has chapped their rusty ankles, reddened the throats of babies, smashed homes to mist. It is water that beats down without taking a breath and points its dank, mossy finger at their faith. I have killed you, it patters. I have bled you dry. Hundreds still being rescued from their homes. Or not. Death has an insistent iron smell, oversweet rot loud enough to wither certain woods. Behind the sagging doors, specters swirl, grow huge-limbed, stink brilliance, and up on the roofs of tombs, sinking mothers claw the sky, pray the rising river away from their scream. The moon refuses to eliminate their overtures, winking dim, then winking shut. From the papery peaks of 3 flat shots and weeping in the starless dark, if you listen, you can hear the dying. It creaks odd and high, a song slowly larger than the singer. Evacuation in process. Plans developing for dome evacuation, but hotel situation adding to problem. We are out of food and running out of water at the dome. Plans in works to address the critical need. Stifle the stinking, shut down the cameras, wave W down from the sky. Subtract the babies, unarm the flailers, hose that wailing bitch down. Draw up a blueprint, consider detention, throw them some cash from a bag. Tell them it's God, ply them with preachers, padlock the rest of the map. Hand them a voucher, fly in some kernel, twist the volume knob hard. Turn down the TV, distract them with vision, pull up your hammer and nail. Sponge out their shoulders, suckle their children, prop them upright for the lens. Tolerate ranting, dazzle with card tricks, pin flags on absent lapels. Try not to breathe them.